The Quran, as a spiritual and moral guide, also makes numerous references to natural materials found in the world. These materials are often mentioned not for scientific classification, but as signs pointing to the wisdom, power, and creativity of God. They serve symbolic, practical, and reflective purposes, inviting humans to observe and understand the world around them. One of the most frequently mentioned materials in the Quran is clay. Human creation is described as originating from clay or dust, emphasizing humility and the earthly origin of mankind. This imagery reminds people of their dependence on the Creator and the transient nature of life. Clay is also a material that can be shaped, symbolizing both human potential and fragility. Water is another central element. It is described as the source of all living things and a sign of divine mercy. Rain revives dead land, allowing plants to grow and sustain life. Water represents purity, life, and renewal, and it plays an important role in both physical survival and spiritual practices, such as purification. The Quran also refers to iron, highlighting its strength and usefulness. Iron is described as a material sent down with great power and benefits for humanity. It is associated with tools, construction, and even defense, symbolizing both human progress and responsibility in using such resources wisely. Gold and silver are mentioned as precious materials, often in descriptions of paradise. They symbolize beauty, reward, and eternal bliss. At the same time, in worldly life, they can represent temptation and material attachment, reminding believers to maintain balance and not become overly focused on wealth. Stone and rock appear in various contexts, sometimes symbolizing hardness of heart when people become spiritually unresponsive. Yet stones are also part of the natural world, shaped by divine will, illustrating both physical strength and metaphorical lessons about human character. Plants and natural fibers, such as those used for clothing and shelter, are also referenced. These materials reflect God's provision for human needs and comfort. They show how natural resources are meant to be used responsibly and gratefully. Silk is mentioned as a luxurious material associated with comfort and honor, especially in descriptions of paradise. Believers are promised garments of fine silk, often described as soft and richly woven. Pearls are another material used in Quranic imagery of paradise. They symbolize purity, beauty, and perfection. Companions in paradise are sometimes described as being like hidden pearls, suggesting not only physical beauty but also protection from impurity and harm. Pearls, formed within the depths of the sea, also reflect the hidden treasures within creation that emerge through divine design. Brass, or more precisely, molten copper appears in powerful and sometimes dramatic contexts. One well-known example is the story of Dhul Qarnayn, where molten metal is poured between iron structures to build a barrier. This highlights human ingenuity, guided by divine permission, showing how natural materials can be used for protection and construction. Glass is another material with symbolic depth. In one famous passage, a lamp is described as being enclosed in glass, shining like a brilliant star. Glass here represents clarity, purity, and the ability to transmit light without distortion, often interpreted spiritually as the clarity of divine guidance. Pitch or tar is mentioned in descriptions of punishment, where garments of fire or boiling substances are used as imagery. These materials emphasize intensity, discomfort, and consequence, contrasting sharply with the softness of silk and beauty of gold in paradise. Musk and other fragrant substances are also referenced, particularly in describing the pleasant environment of paradise. Overall, the materials mentioned in the Quran are not just physical substances. They carry deeper meanings. They encourage reflection on creation, responsibility toward the environment, and awareness of the balance between material life and spiritual purpose.